taking your knees wide, big toes together. Um, Bringing the forehead to the mat, no matter what you've chosen. And just taking a moment, if you're taking wide knee, arms can be above the head. Just start opening up the shoulders. And just take a moment, take a nice long deep breath in through the nose. Open the mouth, let it all out in a big breath, big sigh. And close down the mouth. And start to lengthen the breath as you're breathing in, breathing all the way down to your belly. And either feeling your belly expand down through the space between your legs in a wide knee pose, or feeling your belly maybe compress against your thighs if you've got a narrow knee pose. With both positions, we're going to bring our attention to the back of our lungs, the back and our back. And so as you breathe in, you're feeling your low back expand towards the sky. And as you breathe out, you feel your back sink back down towards the earth. Feel the low back expand, feel the rib cage expand sideways and upwards as you fill your lungs with each and every breath. Take 2 more breaths here. And if your knees are narrow and your arms down by your side, take your arms over your head and take your knees apart. We'll all go into a wide knee pose here. And then come up onto your fingertips so that your arms are off the mat and you're just activating the arms on those fingertips. On your next inhale, look up to your hands. As you exhale, walk your hands over to the right, and then you can bring your arms back to the mat, forehead back to the mat, and feel a nice stretch through the left side body as you breathe in and out still. This time opening up through that left rib cage as you breathe in, really bringing attention to the left lung. And then activate your fingers once more, arms off the floor. Inhale, look up towards those fingers. As you exhale, walk the hands all the way back across to the other side, over to the left, coming back down on the arms and the forehead, back to the mat, feeling the stretch through the right side body. Bringing attention to the right lung, feeling the rib cage expand as you breathe in, and feeling that lung deflate as you breathe out. On your next breath in, come up onto those fingertips once more, active arms. Inhale, look up at those hands. Exhale, bring your hands back to center. Come back down to your regular child's pose just for one breath. And then walk your hands up, and you're going to come into a tabletop position. And once you're in your tabletop, we'll come into our cat-cow. So make sure those knees are stacked underneath the hips, hip-width apart, and the wrists are underneath the shoulders, shoulder-width apart. As you inhale, that tailbone will curl up. Squeeze those shoulder blades together and lift up. And as you exhale, look down to the belly button. Push through your hands, dome the back. Tailbone curls under. Keep going with your breath. Bring attention to those shoulder blades. So as you're breathing in, they squeeze together. And as you breathe out, you press through those hands and really spread those shoulder blades apart. Keep going with your breath. Do 3 more, give or take. After your next one, pause in a neutral position. And once you have found that neutral position, we are going to curl the toes under and come into a toe stretch. So bringing your thumb back towards your heels, either keeping weight on your hands or maybe using a block between your heels to support your bum a little bit. Or if you're able to tolerate, just coming on to your heels. Awesome. Looks like we're all up. So while we're here, we are going to just stretch out the wrists. So take the fingers, point them downwards, and grab onto the back of your hand and just pull the hand towards your face a little bit gently. And then go the other way, so fingertips face up and taking the palm of your hand towards your face. And then same thing on the other side. Fingertips point down on the left side. And then fingertips point up. And then take both thumbs, put them inside the fist, and do a few circles in one direction. And then a few circles in the other direction. And then give the wrists a good shake. Take 1 or 2 more nice long deep breaths. On your next exhale, coming back to your hands and knees and gently tapping the fronts of the feet onto the mat, giving yourself a little toe tantrum there. And then we're going to take all the way into the left hand and inhale, take the right hand to the sky. Exhale, you're going to weave it under and hover the arm and the cheek above the mat. And then inhale, take the arm back up to the sky. We're going to flow like this 2 or 3 times before we pause. Last one going up. Exhale, come down, this time cheek and the arm to the mat. And just as usual, pushing through that left hand, opening that left shoulder up to the sky, and your choice of taking the arm to the sky and half bind behind your back, or leaving your hand where it is and continuing to push through the mat. No matter what option you've chosen, you're really trying to get that left shoulder to the sky and continue to breathe all the way to the base of your lungs. On your next inhale, take that right arm all the way back up to the sky. Exhale, hand down. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. So inhale and take the left hand to the sky. Exhale, hover. Inhale, back to the sky. Exhale, hover once more. Inhale, last time to the sky. Exhale, this time coming that hand to the ground, arm to the ground, cheek to the ground, pushing through the right hand, trying to really get the right shoulder up towards the sky, and taking your choice. You can take that right hand up to the sky, half bind behind your back, or leave your hand where it is. And no matter what you've chosen, remembering just to really maintain that twist in the spine and keep breathing deeply all the way down to the base of your lungs, even with any compression created by your rib cage. On your next inhale, take that left hand all the way back up to the sky. Exhale and bring it down. And then just cross your legs behind you. We're going to come into an easy seated position. And once more, I forgot to tell you ahead of time to grab a strap or a belt. So if you have one nearby, Go ahead and grab that now, and I can wait. And then once you have it, we're going to do some shoulder work today. So we're going to start by putting the strap just above the elbow on the left arm. And then taking that strap behind the back. I'm going to turn around, hopefully you can see, so that your left hand is trapped underneath that strap as you bring the ends of it around. And it will probably pull this left elbow a little bit towards the right as you draw on that strap. Really try to feel a stretch in the left shoulder as you do this. Draw both shoulders away from the ears, draw your shoulder blades together. And then as you inhale, and then as you exhale, tip your right ear towards your right shoulder. So you're just getting that same stretch through the neck that we normally do, but we're anchoring the shoulder with the strap. Breathe here. And then go ahead and start to rotate the chin down towards that right shoulder, right armpit. And maybe bring your head back a little bit, ears over the shoulders, finding stretch. And continuing to breathe. And inhale, coming all the way up. Release the strap, take the arms out wide, and just flip and flop those palms up and down a couple times. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So strap just above the right elbow as you're going out, and then bringing the ends of that strap around to the other side, trapping that right hand underneath that strap, and then drawing your shoulders away from the ears, drawing those shoulder blades together. And that should probably increase the stretch just doing that. And then inhale. And as you exhale, tip that left ear towards the left shoulder, anchoring the right shoulder this time. Continue to breathe here. On your next exhale, rotate the chin down towards the left shoulder. And once more, just draw those ears back over the shoulders a little bit. And then inhale, coming all the way up, releasing the strap, and taking the arms out wide once more. And just flip and flop those hands. And then we're going to come back onto our hands and knees. And bring the right foot forward between the hands. And we'll just start by finding our lunge here. So shining the chest out forwards, keeping that front knee stacked over the front ankle, and letting the hips hang nice and heavy as you open up through that back left leg, probably, maybe getting some compression in the right hip. Breathe here. Inhale. As you exhale, straighten that front leg. And we're going to flow with this. So inhale, you're going to come back to the lunge. Exhale, straighten. Inhale to your lunge. Exhale, straighten, and this time we'll hold. So you can pull your toes up towards your nose and try to straighten that leg, shining your chest to your ankle or even to your toes. And then inhale, coming back into your lunge. Heel toe the right foot out to the edge of the mat, toes pointed out 45 degrees, right hand to your right knee. Pick up your toes and roll onto the outer edge of the right foot. And then you can just start to twist and turn and look over that right shoulder. One more breath here. As you exhale, release and heel toe that foot back. And then take your right knee back, and we're going to switch it up, bringing the left foot forward between the hands and finding a lunge to start. So just like the other side, shining the chest forward, stacking the front knee over the front ankle, allowing the hips to hang heavy here. As you open up through the front of the back leg and letting those hips open. Inhale. As you exhale, we'll start to flow, straightening the leg. And inhale, coming back to your lunge. Exhale, straighten. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, straighten, and this time we'll hold. Drawing your toes up towards your nose, shining your chest to your ankle, and really just holding that stretch, feeling the hamstring open. And then inhale, coming back to the lunge once more. And now we're going to heel toe the left foot out to the edge of the mat. Left hand comes to the inside of that foot for now. Pick up all the toes on that left foot, left hand to the knee, and then roll over onto the outside edge of that left foot. And then twisting and turning and looking over the left shoulder. And inhale, unravel, heel toe that foot back in, and then take the left knee back behind you. Walk your hands, one or two handprints forward, curl your toes under, take your hips high, and we'll find our downward dog. So we're going to walk this out, letting one heel at a time come to the mat as the opposite knee bends. And as you do that, spread your fingers nice and wide, taking nice equal weight through all 10 fingers, and maybe pushing a little more through the L shape created by your index finger and your thumb. Do a couple more dog walks, and then come to stillness. Once you've come to stillness, just bend your knees a little bit more than slightly more than they already are, and push your chest towards your ankles a little closer. Let your head hang heavy here. Give it a little shake, yes and no. Take some nice, long, deep breaths in your downward dog. One more breath here. The end of your next breath, step or walk, just rise up onto your tippy toes, and we'll just take little baby steps to the front of the mat until your feet come between your hands. And once they're there, take your hands to your shins. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale to a forward fold. And then inhale, we're going to slowly come up. As slow as you like, stacking one vertebrae on top of another until the head comes up last. And then take your feet roughly hip width apart, toes pointed forward, and just rock back and forth on those feet a couple of times until you can come to rest with nice equal weight from the front to the back of your foot. And then just feel from the big toe mount out to the outer edge of the foot. Maybe wiggle the feet sideways a few times until you can find equal weight going across the foot from the inside to the outside of the foot. Maybe lifting your inner arches a little bit to assist with that weight distribution. And then see if you pick up all 10 toes. And then as you place them down, spread them nice and wide, one at a time. And then soften through your ankles and your knees. And engage your thighs and your glutes as you draw your belly button towards your spine. Allow your spine to grow tall as the crown of your head reaches to the sky. And then draw your shoulder blades together and down towards opposite hips as your palms turn out to face forwards. Relax your shoulders away from your ears. Feel energy travel through the arms, down through the fingertips and towards the earth. Take a nice long deep breath here in your Tadasana pose. Then inhale, take the arms to the sky. Exhale, swan dive to the earth, hinging from your hips. Inhale to a nice straight back, halfway lift, crown of the head points forward. Exhale, back to your forward fold. Bend your knees as much as you need to now so that you can slide your hands underneath your feet so that you are standing on the palms of your hands, your toes coming up to your wrist creases. Let your head hang heavy, and then draw the belly button in towards the spine as you try to lift your hips towards the sky. So think less about straightening the knees and think about lifting the hips towards the sky, letting the head hang heavy as you do so. Just going to wherever you can go and breathing here. Keep pressing your toes down into your palms. Two more breaths. And after your next exhale, release your hands from their traps. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale to a forward fold. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way back up to the sky. Exhale, arms to the side. Come to the top of your mat, and we are going to take a step back with your right foot and turn your right toes out to point the long edge of the mat, and make sure the front heel is pointed into the arch of the back foot. We're going to bend into the front knee so that it's stacked over the front ankle. Take your arms wide, gazing out over the front middle finger. Your hips should still be turned and pointed towards the long edge of the mat as you gaze forwards. In your warrior two, breathe here. On your next inhale, straighten that front leg, flip the front palm up. And as you exhale, you lean back into your peaceful warrior, back hand resting gently on the back leg or taking the half bind behind your back. Breathe here. One more breath. As you exhale, we're going to come back down into warrior two, bending back down into the front knee. Inhale. And then as you exhale, you can either take your elbow to your knee or you can use a block behind that front leg. Take your right hand and push it out to the front as far as it'll go, and then pull your shoulder back into its socket. And then swing that arm up and over the head so you're getting a nice straight line now, side angle pose, from your fingertips all the way down to the outer edge of that back foot. Lots of energy going all the way through that line, opening up the right side body towards the sky and starting to imagine the wall behind us. It's going to be there for a while. So you're flattening your back, both shoulder blades, both butt cheeks, all up against that imaginary wall right behind you. Breathing here. And then you can either stay here or you can start to take weight out of the bottom arm. And I'm not going to do it, but if you want to, you can hold that imaginary beach ball above your head. And then on your next breath in, we're all going to come all the way up to our warrior two. Bending back through that leg. One more breath. And then inhale, straighten that front leg. Inhale here. Exhale, Reach out over that front foot as far as you can. And then on your exhale, you're going to tip down, taking your hand wherever it goes. Maybe it's to your leg, maybe a block. But what you're really trying to go for, just like before, is flattening your back against that imaginary wall behind you. And having a plumb line from that top wrist to the bottom wrist. In your triangle, Trikonasana pose. Have your block handy. Bring your right hand to your right waist. And we're going to go into our half moon pose. So we're going to take all the weight into that front foot as you try and lift the back foot off the mat. Keep the toes pulled up towards the nose and try to imagine that wall behind you so that your shoulders, shoulder blades, your butt cheeks, your back are all pressed up against that wall. Right hip is still facing up to the sky. And then maybe taking the right hand to the sky. And if you want to challenge your balance, you can find a drishti, gazing at something that doesn't move, and maybe taking weight out of that left hand for your half moon, or you can keep hanging on to your block, your choice. One more breath here. Lift that back leg as high as it'll go. And as you exhale, take that back leg, float it back down, coming back to your warrior two. Pause for a breath in warrior two. And then turn both toes to face the long edge of your mat. Take your hands to your waist and inhale, squeeze your elbows together. Exhale, halfway fold, nice straight back. Inhale here. And then exhale, hands to the earth or a block. And find your hand position. Either keep your hands where they are, maybe you can walk them back so your fingertips are level with your toes. And you can either stay there or maybe start to bend the elbows, drawing your head closer to the ground. And just breathe here. One more breath. On your next inhale, coming up halfway. Exhale, take your hands to your hips. And inhale, coming all the way up. Now I'm going to turn my right foot to face the back of my mat. If that doesn't work for you in the camera and you just want to switch legs, you can do that. And we're going to come into warrior two on the right leg down, right knee stacked over the right ankle, arms out wide, hips are still facing the long edge of your mat. And you still have lots of energy going through the outside edge of the back foot. Breathe here, warrior two. Relax the shoulders away from the ears and draw your belly button in towards the spine. On your next breath in, straighten the front leg, turn the front palm up. Exhale, coming back to your peaceful warrior. Backhand rests gently on the back leg or take the half bind. Opening up through the right side body, breathing here. On your next exhale, coming back to your warrior two. One more breath here. And then exhale, taking your elbow to a knee or a block behind that right leg, pointing your left fingers out and pushing that arm out and then plugging that shoulder back into its socket before swinging the arm up and around and finding the side angle on this side. Coming back to the imaginary wall behind you and getting a nice stretch from the fingertips all the way down to the outside edge of that back foot. And then once more, if you want to, you can start to take weight out of that bottom hand and maybe find that beach ball above your head. Your choice, one breath. And then inhale, coming all the way up to your warrior two, straightening the front leg. Inhale here. Exhale, reach out over that front foot as far as you can. And when you can go no further, tipping down into your version of triangle, maybe to a block, maybe your leg, maybe the ground. But once more, find the wall behind you, really flattening your back against that imaginary wall. Breathing here. And then taking your left hand to the waist and keeping that block handy as we try to transfer the weight into the front foot and taking the back foot off of the mat. Pulling the back toes up towards the nose. And when you've got your balance, taking that left hand back to the sky for your half moon. And then just like the other side, if you want to challenge your balance more, find your drishti, little place to focus on, and maybe take the weight out of that bottom hand, finding your half moon on this side. One more breath. As you exhale, floating that back leg down, finding your warrior two once more. Breathe here. Inhale, straighten that leg, and now we're going to come back to toes facing the long edge of your mat once more. And then grab your strap. We're going to do the same sequence without the half moon, using our strap. So we're going to start by just doing a forward fold. So take the strap behind your back. Hands no further than shoulder width apart. You can take them as close together as you like. By giving a little bit of a gap rather than interlacing fingers, you will get more flexibility through the shoulders. So as you inhale, take the arms away from the back, open up the chest. And then as you exhale, halfway fold. Inhale here. And then exhale, you can fold all the way forward, letting the arms fall over your head just as far as they're able to come. Breathe here. Let the head hang nice and heavy. Give yourself a little nod yes, shake no. Make sure that neck is nice and relaxed. One more breath. On your next inhale, allowing the arms to come back to the back, come to a halfway lift, and then inhale, coming all the way up. And then turn, we're going to do left toes back to the front of the mat. So again, change legs if you need to for your camera, or just change your position. And then we're going to take the strap, and just like we did in sitting, we're going to put it just above the right elbow and take the strap behind the back. Make sure you've got a decent long tail to grab onto. Trap that hand behind the back just like you did before. So you're drawing the right shoulder back, and then bend into the front knee. We've got our warrior two without our arms in a bind. So looking over towards where your middle finger would be if it was there. And then inhale and straighten that front leg, and exhale, you're going to lean back. You can pull that shoulder beneath you into your peaceful warrior. So you're getting stretched through the left side body, and maybe a little stretch through that right shoulder. Inhale, coming all the way up, bending back into that front knee. Now it gets fun. This is why we want the tail on our strap. Inhale here. And as you exhale, you can slide your hands down the strap ends so your elbow can come to the knee. You're going to find your side angle here. So now the strap is really helping you open that right shoulder up to the sky and get yourself pressed against the wall. So this is just like our side angle, but you've just got the strap binding your arm so it's not going into your side angle. So it's left elbow to left knee, the right arm is trapped in the strap. One more breath here. And then inhale and coming all the way up and straightening the front leg. Now it gets fun again because we're going to go into our triangle. So imagine that that left arm is out in front of you. Inhale. And as you exhale, you're shifting your shoulders over your hips as you lean out as far as you can. And then exhale, coming into your triangle and just taking your hands down towards the end of the strap. So you're not necessarily bringing your hand to anything. And once again, that's opening up that right shoulder to the sky, helping you press against that imaginary wall behind you. Inhale and coming all the way up, turning both toes to face the horizontal edge of the mat. Just release the strap for a few moments, take the arms out wide, and flip and flop those palms a couple times. And then take your hands to the waist once more. Squeeze the elbows behind you as though they were to kiss. Inhale. Exhale, coming to a halfway fold. Keep a nice straight back here. Inhale. And then exhale, either hands to the floor in your halfway fold or to a block. And then take your left hand to the center so that your nose is facing down the back of your left hand. And inhale, take your right hand to the sky, finding a twist. Looking up towards that right hand. Breathe here. Exhale, right hand down. Swap it out with the left hand. And inhale, take the left hand to the sky. Exhale, bring the hand back down. Take your hands to the waist. Inhale, coming all the way up. And again, we're either swapping legs or turning the right foot towards the back of the mat. So, and grab your strap. So this time it's the right foot forward, taking the strap above the left elbow and setting up our arm so that we've got that left hand caught behind the strap. And then once you've got that, you can bend into that front knee, finding our warrior two in a bind. So gazing out over our imaginary front middle finger and keeping the hips facing the long edge of your mat. And then inhale, straighten the front leg, and we're going to tip back into our peaceful warrior, opening up through the right side body, keeping that left arm in that bound position. Inhale, coming all the way up, bending back into that front knee. So we're going to find the side angle next. Again, where you can slide your hands down the strap so you can bring your elbow to the knee. And opening up that left shoulder to the sky as you draw that left shoulder open and upwards. Find that imaginary wall behind you. One more breath here. And on your next inhale, coming back up to your warrior two and straighten that front leg. And then we have our triangle pose. So imagine that arm's out in front of you. Inhale. As you exhale, reach out over that front foot. So you're shifting your shoulders past your hips and then tipping over into your triangle in the half bind. So again, taking your hands to the tail end of your strap as much as you need to really help you open up that left shoulder, draw it open, finding a triangle in this bound pose. And then inhale, coming all the way up, turning the toes to face the long edge of the mat and releasing your strap, taking your arms wide and just doing the little foot flop with the palms up and down. And then turning whichever are your front toes back to the front and taking a big step forward and finding yourself back to the front of the mat. And then once we're there, we haven't done a single chaturanga this morning, so we'll just do one. We're going to inhale, take the arms to the sky. Exhale, forward fold, hinging from the hips. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale to a forward fold. Step both feet back to your plank position. And we'll pause here for a couple of breaths. And when we do decide to go down, you're going to have your choice of either chaturanga, the halfway push-up, or knees, chest, chin to the ground. And then your choice of either upward dog or cobra. One more breath here in plank. And then as you exhale, your choice, no matter what choice you do, keep those elbows tight to the rib cage. As you inhale to cobra or upward dog, and then curl the toes under to downward dog. I'll pause here for 2 or 3 nice long breaths. On your next breath in, take your right foot to the sky, bend the right knee, and let the right foot fall over to the left, taking a peek under the right armpit, opening up that right hip. Inhale, straighten that leg back out. Keep your hips square to the ground once more. As you exhale, we're going to set up for our pigeon pose. So bring that right knee up behind the right wrist and your ankle as close to that left wrist as you can. Scooch that back leg back and pad up underneath your right hip if you need to. Maybe pick up that left foot and bring it a little closer to the front of the mat. And then when you're ready, walking your hands down to maybe your elbows, maybe further. Just actively try and draw that right hip back a little bit. Maybe using a block for your forehead. And breathe here. As you breathe, feel your lungs expand all the way down to the belly. And notice the movement of your connective tissue that extends from your lungs all the way to your hips. And how your breath affects any sensations you're having in your hips. And then on your next inhale, walking your hands up so that they are in that position for downward dog, and curl your back toes under so you can sweep your right foot back to your downward dog. And once you've made it to downward dog, just pause there for a breath or two. And on your next breath in, take your left foot to the sky, bend your left knee, and let it fall over towards the right, opening that left hip up and looking under the left armpit, finding the twist on this side. Inhale and straighten that back leg. Keep the hips square to the ground, and then we'll set up for pigeon on this side. So we're going to sweep that left leg through, knee behind the left hand, ankle behind the right wrist. Scooch that back leg back, pad up the left hip if you need to, and maybe pick up that foot and try and draw it forward a little bit further. And then coming down to your version of pigeon, elbows maybe further, lock if you'd like. And then just taking a moment to really pull that left hip back actively and coming back to your breath. And just like the other side, noticing the sensations in your hip with your breath. One more breath here. And on your inhale, walking your hands up and preparing to go back to your downward dog. Hands in position, curl those back toes under and sweep the left foot back to your downward dog. Let's pause here for 2 or 3 breaths. Just see how the body's feeling. Did a lot of shoulder work, done a few hip stretches. Are you warmed up for the day? Walk your feet to about the middle of the mat and take your feet out to mat width apart, toes pointed backwards, and then walk your hands back so that we're ready to come into a squat. So right now the hips are high and your hands are on the ground, and then you can just let your hips down to wherever they make it to so we can find our squat. And then you can bring your hands to heart center. Elbows should be between the knees. And your heels can be on or off the ground. It doesn't matter which. And breathe here for your squat. One more breath here. And then you can exhale, bring your hands to the mat and maybe even reach behind you so you can just come down into a seated position. And take your legs out long and give them a little shake. And then once you're there, we are going to just draw the toes up towards the ceiling, reach behind you, sit up straight and tall. If you need to pad your hips and sit on something to keep that low back from slumping, keep the pelvis tilted forward, you can do that. And then inhale, take the arms up to the sky. Exhale, you're going to lean forward from the hips, letting the hands land where they land, still shining your chest out to your ankles and beyond, keeping length in the low back. As you inhale, think about lengthening through the spine. And as you exhale, think about hinging from your hips, keeping that length. Inhale and exhale. One more breath here. On your next inhale, walk your hands back up the legs. And bring the feet in for a seated butterfly. So soles of the feet in together. If you need to prop a thigh or both thighs, depending on any injuries or flexibility, do that. And then just open up the feet like a book. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. And as you exhale, leaning forward from the hips, shining your chest out beyond those toes, seeing where you go, and just holding it. Keep length through the back of your neck so you're not poking your chin out. Draw your chin back a little bit. Breathe here. And then inhale, coming all the way up. And bring those knees together, and we're going to come to lie down on your back. Knees bent, soles of the feet on the mat, and we're going to prepare for a bridge posture. So make sure you can reach down with your fingers and maybe graze your heels with your index or your middle finger. Make sure those feet are hip width apart, as are the knees. The ankles are stacked underneath the knees. As you inhale now, lift your hips to the sky. And then your choice of walk your shoulder blades together, and your choice of either interlacing your fingers together or supporting your hips with your hands. As you try and push that chest up closer to your nose, taking your hips as high as they can go, keeping those knees hip width apart, making sure they're not splaying apart and that your knees are stacked over your ankles. Breathe here. One more breath. On your next exhale, release your hands, let the shoulder blades walk apart, and then allow your hips to come back to the earth. Bring your knees into your chest for a nice gentle hug, and maybe just a little gentle rock side to side. And then we'll do one more bridge. So taking the feet back to the mat, once more hip width apart, and then inhale, take the hips to the sky, and walk those shoulders together, shoulder blades together, I should say, and decide on your position, either hands supporting the hips or interlace the fingers, push them hands into the ground. Either way, you're really striving to get that chest closer to the chin, hips as high as possible, keeping those knees stacked over the ankles, breathing here. On your next exhale, release your hands, let those shoulder blades walk apart, and then slowly allow your hips to come back to the ground. And once more, bring the knees into the chest for a gentle hug. And just do some circles in one direction and some circles in the other direction. And then keep both knees in towards the chest. Take your arms out wide and you let both knees fall over to the right. So we're getting a twist as we normally would, but with both knees bent. So it just changes where the majority of the twist takes place in the spine. Breathe here. And then inhale, bring those knees all the way back up to center and let them fall over to the left side this time. And you might look over towards your right hand. Keep that right shoulder blade glued to the mat and breathe in the twist on this side. Inhale and bring those knees back up to the chest. And grab hold of both knees, bring them to the outside of the rib cage. Take the soles of the feet up to the sky. We'll do our happy baby, so you can grab onto the outer edges of your feet or place fingers to your big toes as you draw your knees down towards the ground. And then maybe start to rock side to side in a gentle happy baby. And when you're ready, come to stillness once more. Release the feet and let the legs go long on the mat. And take your feet mat width apart. If you want any layers, you can grab them now, taking your arms out away from the body, palms facing up, closing down the eyes. Take a nice long deep breath in through the nose Open the mouth, let it out in a big sigh. Close down the mouth and come back to your natural breath, whatever that looks like. Relax your jaw, allowing your teeth to float a little further apart than usual. Allow your tongue to soften, resting the tip of your tongue gently behind your back teeth. Feel your face soften as any lines in your face smooth out, and the space between your eyebrows widens at your third eye. That covers your scalp, where your hair inserts to fully relax, and your ears to fully relax. And feel that full relaxation of your head melt into the ground as that travels down your body, relaxing your neck, your shoulders, your abdominals, your glutes, your arms, and your legs. And take this moment to do nothing but relax here in your Shavasana for the next minute or two. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose. Open your mouth, let it all out. And then turn your head from one side to the other, awakening the spine. And start to wiggle the fingers and the toes, making circles with the ankles and the wrists. And take your arms up overhead. Give yourself a big stretch from the fingertips all the way down to the toes. And then you can bring your knees into your chest and give them a gentle hug and roll over onto your preferred side, allowing your lower arm to cradle your head. Stay there for 1 or 2 nourishing breaths. And then when you're ready, pushing yourself away from the ground and coming up to an easy seated position. Now I am sitting. I've completely frozen on my own screen, but I can see that you guys are all sitting. So bring your hands to heart center and taking a nice deep moment to thank yourself for getting up this morning, looking after your body and your mind through the practice of yoga. And I thank you all for sharing your practice with me today. Namaste.